The movie starts with a bar that doubles as a meth lab, run by a biker gang leader named Danny Turry. Danny and his son, Jojo Turry, make their own drugs and operate the largest drug business in the city. Danny has a trusted friend named Dalton, but he doesn't know that Dalton is actually a DEA agent named Phil Broker. Broker is working undercover to catch Danny and shut down his drug business. Thanks to Broker's information, the police raid the place, leading to a shootout with Danny's gang. In the chaos, Danny and Jojo try to escape by car, but Broker catches them and stops their escape. The police arrest Danny, but Jojo resists and is shot dead. Danny, furious and grieving over his son's death, vows to take revenge on Broker for his betrayal. Broker is also deeply affected by Jojo's death because they had become close friends during his undercover mission. After the raid, Broker decides to quit his job and move to a small, quiet town. 2 years later, the story shifts to an elementary school. Broker's daughter, Maddie, gets into an argument with a boy named Teddy Klum because he is bullying her. Annoyed, Maddie warns Teddy to stop, but he ignores her. Maddie then fights back, and Teddy falls to the ground with a bloody nose. Meanwhile, Broker is fixing stairs at his house with his friend Tito. He gets a call from Maddie's school asking him to come because Maddie is in trouble. When Broker arrives, he meets Teddy's parents, Cassie Bodine and Jimmy Klum. Cassie is very angry that Broker's daughter hurt her son. Broker then talks to Maddie, who is with her teacher, Susan Hetch. After hearing the story, Broker smiles at Maddie because he believes she was just defending herself. As Broker and Maddie leave, they run into Teddy and his parents in the school parking lot, along with Sheriff Rodrigue. Cassie gets angry again and starts a fight between her husband and Broker. Broker easily wins the fight. Sheriff Rodrigue breaks up the fight and tells them to leave. Rodrigue explains to Broker that Cassie has emotional issues, making her quick to anger and sometimes dangerous. Cassie has caused problems at school before and even threatened the principal, so the school calls the sheriff when dealing with her to prevent trouble. Elsewhere, a group of teenagers having a drug party in an abandoned place is approached by a man who threatens and beats one of them, warning them not to come to his area again. This man is Gator Bodine, a drug maker and Cassie's brother. Later, Gator visits Cassie. She asks him to scare Broker as payback. Cassie, who is addicted to drugs, also asks her brother for some drugs. The next day, Broker takes Maddie to school and talks to Susan. He asks her to help resolve Maddie's issues at school because he wants to invite all of Maddie's friends to her birthday party in a few days. After that, Broker meets Jimmy Klum at his workplace and apologizes for the incident. Jimmy forgives him, and they make peace. While Broker stops at a gas station to refuel, Gator's men attack him, but Broker easily defeats them. When Gator finds out his men failed, he gets very angry and decides to handle Broker himself. Sheriff Rodrigue warns Broker not to cause any more trouble after the gas station fight. While Broker and Maddie are out horse riding, Gator breaks into their house. He slashes Broker's car tire, takes Maddie's stuffed bunny, and finds Broker's DEA files. Gator learns that Broker was the one who arrested Danny Turry, which led to Jojo Turry's death. He takes the file and also kidnaps Maddie's black cat before leaving. That night, Maddie notices that her stuffed bunny and her cat are missing. She complains to her father, Broker. He tells her to go to sleep while he looks for the cat. Near their house, Broker finds the head of Maddie's stuffed bunny stuck in a tree trunk, but the cat is nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Gator reads through Broker's private files and calls his girlfriend, Cheryl Mott, to come over. Together, they plan to hand Broker over to Danny Turry, thinking that Danny still wants revenge for his son's death. Gator wants to use Broker to expand his own drug business and make more money. He asks Cheryl to meet Danny's lawyer and share Broker's location and their plan for the drug business. At first, Cheryl is scared and refuses, but Gator convinces her. The next day, Broker visits Jimmy at work and confronts him about the previous night's events. Jimmy insists he didn't take Maddie's stuffed bunny or the cat. Broker believes him and leaves. Broker buys Maddie a new stuffed bunny and takes her to school. They see Cassie and Teddy there. As an apology, Maddie invites Teddy to her birthday party, while Broker tries to make peace with Cassie. Elsewhere, after getting information about Broker from Cheryl, Danny's lawyer visits Danny in prison and tells him about Broker. Angry, Danny orders his lawyer to have his men find and kill Broker. Back at home, Broker continues fixing the stairs with Tito's help. Tito tells Broker that Jimmy Clum couldn't have done such a reckless act because he is a coward. Tito suspects Gator, Cassie's brother, is responsible. He also tells Broker where Gator lives and rumors that Gator is a drug maker. Tito mentions that Sheriff Rodrigue is involved with Gator, which is why Gator has never been punished despite breaking the law many times. A few days later, it's Maddie's birthday party. All her school friends, some teachers, and parents are there having fun. Meanwhile, some members of a motorcycle gang, sent by Danny, go to a bar to meet Cheryl. Their leader, Cyrus Hanks, a ruthless killer, threatens Cheryl to reveal where Broker is and ignores the reward Cheryl and Gator want. That evening, Gator visits Cassie and says her problem with Broker is solved, and he asks her to stay away from Broker. When Gator is about to leave, Cassie asks him for drugs, but gets very angry when he refuses. Jimmy then asks Gator not to give Cassie drugs anymore. Meanwhile, Broker calls a colleague at the DEA. He asks him to check Gator's criminal records and finds out that Gator has been arrested several times but never served any sentence. Interestingly, Cheryl has been involved in the drug business with Danny Turry several times and is likely still in contact with Danny and his gang members. The next day, Broker warns Gator and Cheryl at a diner during breakfast. After that, he goes to Gator's meth lab by the river. There, Broker finds drug-making materials and a large chest full of drug packages ready for distribution. Broker sabotages several devices to blow up the lab when a light is turned on. Broker finds Maddie's black cat and tries to take her away, but Gator's men attack him. Despite being tied up and tortured, Broker defeats them all and escapes. Meanwhile, Cyrus and his men arrive at Gator's place with Cheryl. Gator is surprised to see so many people brought to deal with Broker. Gator decides not to join the attack, but Cyrus takes Cheryl as a guide. That evening, Tito comes to Broker's house to take care of the stables. Cyrus, Cheryl, and his men sneak into the area by boat. Tito sees them and tries to warn Broker using a car horn, but he is shot. Broker hears the warning and takes Maddie into the basement, telling her to call the police. He grabs his weapon to defend against the attackers. A gunfight breaks out. Maddie, scared, runs out of the basement. Broker panics and chases after her to protect her. On the boat, Cheryl calls Gator and updates him on the situation. One of Cyrus's men tries to shoot Maddie, but Broker arrives in time and kills him. When Broker is about to take his daughter away, Cyrus shoots him. They get into a fierce fight, and Broker eventually kills Cyrus. Maddie, running through the woods, meets Cheryl, who forces her onto a boat. Cheryl locks Maddie on the lower deck and leaves just before Broker arrives at the dock. When Broker returns home, the police are already there. He tells them about his daughter's kidnapping and reunites with Tito, who is still alive. On the boat, Maddie calls her father, who speaks to her on the police radio. Maddie describes the woman who kidnapped her and says she is at Gator's meth lab. After learning where his daughter is, Broker rushes to save her. At Gator's place, he doesn't know that Broker killed Cyrus and his men. Gator is angry that Cheryl brought Maddie, which could endanger his drug business. Gator tells Cheryl to hide Maddie when Cassie and Jimmy arrive. While Gator and Cassie argue, Maddie screams, and Cassie realizes she is there. Cassie bursts in and turns on the lights, causing an explosion and fire. Cassie, tired of her brother's actions, rescues Maddie. Gator tries to shoot his sister and take Maddie, but Broker arrives and chases Gator. The chase ends on a bridge where the police surround Gator. As Gator tries to shoot Broker, Sheriff Rodrigue fires a warning shot, distracting Gator. Broker gets up and beats Gator, but stops himself from killing him, remembering his daughter. The police arrest Gator and Cheryl, while Cassie, who was shot in the stomach, gets medical help. The film ends with Broker visiting Danny Turry in prison, telling him he will wait for Danny to get out. So the moral of the story is, don't mess with a dad who can fix stairs, wrangle drug dealers, and win schoolyard fights, especially if you don't want to end up in a world of trouble over a stuffed bunny and a black cat.